so I am. I'm Arthur Nkuna.
Uh-huh.
I'm a 30-year-old boy from Shayela. I used to work in banking environment, and then I decided to leave the banking environment to focus my skills or apply my skills in banking in the arts environment. So currently I am working with BASA, looking after the Young Business Professionals program, which basically focuses on getting young business professionals exposure into the art space. Because working in banking and also being passionate about the arts, I realized that there's nothing for people or young professionals that want to get involved in the art space, and there's no bridge that allows you to enter the space. So it always feels like if you're going to enter the art space, it's like you are downgrading or you're selling out, or you are moving to something that's less of value. But art and creativity is very valuable. So how does one move from one space into the next? And that's what the Young Professionals program does, and I'm looking after that program.
Okay.
Over and above that program, I also look after BASA's business exchange program, which includes having mentors and having young professionals being mentors in the art space. And not just young professionals, but having professionals that want to get involved in the arts to be mentors in the art space. And also if you want to sit on a board of an arts organization as a professional, I also look after that. So the Young Business Professionals is for individuals between the ages of 24 to 36. People that have already worked for more than a year. So if you've done a year of a grad program or in the second year of your career, basically for individuals who are within 10 years bracket of working. What the program does is facilitate exposure to the art space for these young business professionals, because we find that there's a lot of young business professionals that want to get involved in the arts but just don't know how to, or they don't know what's happening in that space. And over and above that, it's creating a platform where creatives and young business professionals can start interacting. The overall idea is to have an exchange of ideas. We find that business do need some creative help, and also vice versa. Creatives do need some business help. So you need to have those skills in order to move forward, whether you're in business or whether you're in a creative environment. Those two work hand in hand. And how do we facilitate the relationship so that when that young professional gets to be a CEO or an executive in a company, when an idea comes where you have to engage with the creative, the conversation is much more easier because I understand your space, you understand my space. So the program is for people that really want to get involved in the arts and really want to open up their opportunities in different industries as well. So what the program consists of is giving people exposure to the art events. So there will be like monthly invitations to art events, what's happening in the art space. Over and above that, we have networking events where we bring young professionals into an arts or creative environment where they can interact with the creative and understand more what is happening in the space. So what we've done this year was we've done a series of events where we took young professionals to more visual art spaces like your galleries, your art auctions. What we're doing in that environment is just exposing them and having people understand what happens in the gallery. Because normally when you walk into a gallery, it feels like intimidating. Or if you walk into an auction house, seeing something that's worth millions and not understanding how or why
it gets to a million.
Yeah, to a million. So the whole process is educating. It's about educating people about the space. And over and above that, we have master classes where once you've been exposed to the space, what happens? What does it mean? The master class is basically a facilitation of making sense of the space and how the space can be applied into a corporate environment. We had a master class where we had young business professionals understanding arts-based initiatives. What that is basically using art skills, like for instance theater skills. How can you apply theater into your normal day-to-day job, whether in corporate, banking, accounting, doctor? Well, theater, you have to stand in front of people. you have to present. So not present, but you need to project
Something.
something. You
Yeah.
need to express yourself. So even when you're presenting in an office or presenting somewhere like a project, you need to present your idea. How do you engage with the audience that's listening to you? So those skills, you can transfer it into that kind of environment.
Sure.
And being confident about yourself. So that theater kind of like does that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one element of arts-based initiative. So we use that as a tool to show the tools actually can work.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of work. It's the same skills, just that it's different environments.
Yeah.
And then over and above that, we once we've taken you to a masterclass, we want you to sort of start engaging more with the creative space, and when ideas starts coming up, because hey, you're from a different environment and I'm from a different environment. I've always wanted to do something creative, but I just did not know how, and you are that individual that I can engage with. Hey, I'm a creative, but I don't understand specific business skills, and I think you're the person that I can engage with. So what happens? We incubate that idea, we incubate that relationship, so that the ideas that come out of that relationship, we are able to put water in it, fertilize it,
Yeah.
and because the ideas are the commodities, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's not just gold, and it's not about just the mineral resources. Your ideas is actually what really, really makes money, and not just for yourself, but for the community around you. So it's very important to have platforms like the Young Business Professionals program, where we bring these tools together, especially young people, to start engaging and coming up with ideas, and just breaking down the barriers,
Sure.
of thinking that these worlds cannot work together.
Yeah.
I don't know who or what created that, but,
Yeah.
but unfortunately we live in a society where creativity is undervalued. I think creators themselves, they undervalue themselves, but it's actually at the same value as business, because creativity is about ideas and business is about ideas as well.
Sure.
So let's respect the two and let's work together. So that's basically what they are professional. Also, like, you can have an idea, but you can spend a lot of time thinking about it. And unfortunately, we don't have capital. And capital is not just finance, but it's resources. So you don't know how to take that idea and make it happen. Or there's no encouragement to say, no, that idea you have, go out there and do it. So I think it also speaks to you as an individual. How scared are you?
Yeah.
How good is your idea? How much do you believe in your idea? And I think as young people, I don't know why, but we have this thing where we second guess ourselves. And therefore the idea you have, you think it's great, and then you ask someone else, and someone's like, you're crazy, you're smoking drugs, or
Sure,
you know what I mean?
sure.
So you doubt yourself. So I think that's the reason. The main point is self-doubt, and we've picked it up ever since we've been growing.
Yeah.
You've been second, playing around. First, your parents are like, hey, don't do this. What will people say? Your friends start saying that. So already you collecting this doubt thing. So when you have an idea, which is a great idea, sometimes you doubt yourself. It's about understanding your idea. Does your idea make sense, first of all?
Sure.
Is it? I think the most brilliant ideas are the ones that service community, and not just yourself. An idea that has a positive impact on society. So that's the first thing. If you're in business, why you? Because more art is about, like, the creative space. It's about connecting with individuals. You're more in touch with society.
Sure.
So if you want to tap into the art space or the creative space with the idea, first of all, is the idea about society, or is it just an idea of just selling laptops and hoping, or just pushing product like that? Because that's just different, and that's like a short-term idea. If you have a good idea, I think it's one that has an impact to society. So when I engage with business or creators, first of all, it's like, what does it mean for society as a whole? And then once we have that, then we can start building on that idea and make it more practical. I think the biggest issue is one, not understanding both worlds. Business not really fully understanding the creative space, and the creative space not fully understanding business. So you have these different levels. I think that's like the biggest issue. The second is just support from relevant stakeholders. Because the most people I engage with are young creatives and or people who are young at heart. But in terms of that support of would I call it red tape? I don't know. You know, I think we need more accessibility or buy-in and support in terms of people's ideas. Or there should be more platforms where ideas, not just incubation houses, but where you can just go and brainstorm. You know, there's things like hackathons where you have these IT guys in one room with maybe someone from banking, and you give them 24 hours to come up with something great. You know, we need more those kind of platforms where we don't have to pay a membership fee or you need to rent an office space. Not everyone can afford that. You know what I mean? Where I can just come, you know, I know you, I have an idea, or we think that we have an idea. We need more of those platforms and support from government, from businesses.
Yeah.
My advice is that put that fear aside and just do it. You know, take that baby step, take that first step. You know, that's very important. You know, it's pointless complaining, being negative, and also stop being negative. You know, my advice is take that first step, and your first step could be just researching about your idea. First step is asking people about your idea. First step is learning how to register your company. You're doing something. You're not just thinking about your idea. Do it, and then once you've done the first step, take that other step. You know, just continue, and obviously join the dots, but don't look back and regret it, because you know you are where you are now for a purpose. So just continue moving forward. So my advice is live your life, and actually you are living your life, so enjoy it. So why not just implement that idea now? That's with what's happening. There's like a wave happening out there in terms of creativity. I think it's great to be in the art space or in the creative space right now with social media, information. The internet there's so much information there, and I think where we're going and how people are starting to think about things like crowdfunding, those kind of resources, things like hackathons I talked about earlier. Businesses are more open about understanding what's happening with the youth, especially the millennials.
True.
We're changing a lot of things. Technology is a disruptor right now. So if you are sleeping right now as an adult or a young person and you're not awake in terms of like what's happening with creativity and how people are making money just from their ideas and telling you how they do it, the future is very bright. I think we just need to provide more of these resources, especially information, internet, networking, getting to know other people who have or who think like you but not necessarily like you, where someone you can inspire ideas from. I think, and now it's gone to a point where you can share your idea with someone overseas, via the internet. So the future, I think it's looking great. Obviously there will be other factors or variables like your politics and so forth. But in terms of the youth and where we are and how we're thinking, I think we are. When you watch that movie Back to the Future, and I look at a guy like Kanye West with his Yeezus shoes. He's actually doing that. If you look at the design he's actually, someone had to say, okay, I've watched the movie Back to the Future, it was set designs and whatever, but someone had to go and design that and put it out in the market. If you look at the Yeezus shoes or whatever is designed in Kanye West, it looks weird. But it's like when you watch movies, it's something like when you watch a movie like a futuristic movie from the 1980s or something, he's creating it. So what I think what's happening right now is the youth are creating that future that we've been watching on TV. And I know I'm using Kanye West, but there's quite a lot of things that we, the youth, and what you're doing yourself, that we are creating this future that we've been thinking about or been seeing on TV. Someone has to own up and say, you know what, I will design that flying car. You know what I'm saying? I will design that flying, hovering skateboard. Someone needs to own up, and I think right now we have a whole lot of young people owning up and saying, you know what, I'm not going to follow the system, the status quo. You know, I am going to live my life the way I want to live. If I want to work from home and make a whole lot of money, I am going to do that. And that's what I'm seeing right now. And I think the future, as more and more young people do that, I think the future becomes much more open, colorful. You know, there's no things
black and white.
Yeah, there's no more black and white. There's more color now. There's more opportunity, and it's really hard for I'll say systems, if you want to call that, or whatever you want to call it, to sort of contain people. You know, people are becoming more free intellectually, which I think is good. Yeah.